alive. It's a lot of people once you look at it from above, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I've been running around in the middle of it. You kind of get a sense of scale, but man alive.
It's allowed with the car.
I thought you hated Muslims. Why are you wearing a hijab?
We've got no place for racism and bigotry in this city. We've got no place for fascists who seek to divide us, who seek to terrorise our community. Come and join us. The EDL are just round the corner, no doubt they'll be joining this lot. Join us, join the anti-racists. We are the many.
Didn't expect to see this in town today.
Just because you're middle class does not give you the right to run my life. I am allowed an opinion. They are the scum of unite. They are scum. And we're united. We're forced. We're right. We're united. We represent Newcastle. They represent nothing. Refugees! Refugees!
I know there's something in the wake of your smile. I get a notion from the look in your eyes. Yeah, you've built a love, but that love falls apart. A little piece of heaven turns to dark. Listen to your heart.
And this is what political discourse in Britain has become. The Leave and Remain campaigns are basically this. Elections are basically this. Neither side covering themselves with glory, just screaming at each other. Everything becomes... both sides have legitimate arguments. Both sides have arguments to make. Neither side makes them. Both sides just scream obscenities and insults at each other. And that is what British politics has become. I thought I may as well throw up a little bit of an update. The lines have moved. The EDL are down to maybe 30, 40 people most. All of them numbers have swelled a little bit recently. On the other hand,
do not have the right to housing, healthcare, justice and
there are a lot more of these guys. It's just not a nice atmosphere, and standing in between the two is a little bit worrying. Even the fairly peaceful pro-refugee side are becoming increasingly. I don't want to say volatile because it's not, but you know, it's gone from them just kind of taking the mick a little bit to getting into actual shouting matches with individuals. The one thing I will say is that while neither side's particularly covering themselves with glory, you know, you've got the EDL throwing out their usual rhetoric, and then you've got the pro-refugee side. I don't know what else to call them. The left, basically throwing out insults, which, you know, it's not really political discourse when you're just taking the piss out of the other side. But the unity that's shown in Newcastle, like the fact that there are people that I wouldn't expect to see on the left lines, on those lines, is uplifting, really uplifting. It's not politics the way I want to see it, but at least it's a show of solidarity. In a city that's not always known for being the most inclusive, friendly, but not always the most inclusive. And it's nice to see people standing up to the EDL's usual bull rhetoric. So when the immigration march appeared, it became much more political and much less personal, which is good to see. There's a guy preaching now. You can't really hear him, but there's a guy basically talking about immigration law and the way how unfair it is. This guy here.
Get access to life-saving medicines. And then Britain turns around and says, well, if you're a migrant and come to Britain...
This side's been really political and is putting out really interesting points. Like, for example, they even made a point of saying that the UK government is more dangerous to immigration than the EDL is, and pointing out that the EDL are a joke by comparison. So there is genuine political discourse going on, it's just not quite as loud as the insults. But yeah. Oh, 1 second.
Behind closed doors, in doctors' offices, in employment, in jobs, even if the EDL is turning away today, and it's great that people are out here to campaign, but we want to continue to speak out against racism and against the Immigration Act, which is going to force everyone in communities to act as border patrol guards. I have worked hard to write a speech today, much like other organisations who travelled across the country to make a point that racism, fascism and fascist groups thrive and exist because of the state that allows it to, a state that further perpetuates racist ideas in the media, from politicians, from this EU referendum. For decades, migrants and refugees and working class...
I was saying before to a friend, we were discussing kind of whether this should really be happening, and I made the point that this is British politics now. It's in my mind. It's been. Yes, actually, Dad, you'd be amazed. There's been some amazing punks. There's a guy I know from my days at Pig Lane Coffee who has swastikas tattooed all over him, but the original peaceful swastika, which is amazing. I got a few shots of him because he's an incredible bloke. really politically active guy, really interested in kind of equality and all that kind of thing, just loving people, while also wearing like 15 swastikas and being literally tattooed in swastikas. It's kind of awesome to see that symbol reclaimed. But yeah, to me it feels like this is what's been bubbling under the surface of British politics for the last 5-10 years, and it feels like the EU referendum, and I know this isn't a new thing, is fascists versus anti-fascists, but it feels like the EU referendum's brought this out a lot more, as one side or the other got on the bandwagon with one campaign or the other, and kind of turned it to their own gain. I don't know if that's true or not, it's just one man's view of British politics, but it feels like that. It feels like a lot more people are becoming a lot more extreme. Yeah, it feels like things are starting to calm down a little bit here. The anti-fascists are starting to move backwards. They're kind of consolidating, becoming more political, and as soon as I say that, they kick off the Nazi scum chant. It feels like they're consolidating a little bit, becoming a little bit more low battery, becoming a little bit more politicised rather than angry. The EDL are basically buggering off now. They're kind of not doing anything anymore. There's no loudspeaker, there's no organisation to them, so unless they've decided to go elsewhere to protest, but considering the police presence still on the ground here, I doubt that. It feels like they may have actually just gone to the pub, like the anti-fascists were saying.
We are not here to oppose the EDL. That is not our purpose. We are here to oppose the immigration bill. It is racist and is unfair. How is it fair that we are refusing entry to migrants and refugees and asylum seekers who are coming from countries that we are bombing and attacking every single day? How is that fair? It is our fault. It is our government's fault that these people are trying to enter our country. It is not their fault. They don't have a choice. They are being bombed. They are being attacked daily by our country. So we should support them. We shouldn't turn them away. It's ridiculous.
You know, who believe the mainstream media. Why don't we actually attack the media? The media who 8 years after the banking crisis is now telling us that it was the migrants' fault, that it's the poor people's fault, it's people on sickness and disability who stripped the country of its assets. It was the banks, remember that. The government bailed out the banks to £3 trillion. They gave them that because they admitted that they had no money, they'd been borrowing off of each other, everything was credit. What does the government do? Give them the only hard currency that's left. Where did that debt go? Well, you tell me, we're paying it. And 8 years later, they're saying that the world is in crisis and it's immigration's fault. But why should we attack people who believe that when that's what you see in the headline news, in the BBC, in the Daily Mail? Instead of attacking these people, we should educate them as people that are in the same position as ourselves. They don't own stocks or shares or have no interest in the stock market or have bonds, or, you know, as people that do work, you know, labour work. You know, they don't own banks, they're not like landlords with thousands of properties, they don't actually own land, they don't get interest payments off of minerals or anything like that. It's people that do the work, but it's the people that actually run the media that are poisoning our minds.